Good morning, everybody. And I, of course, am back now from Denmark, where I was visiting my friend. And I put a very brief video up there. But yeah, basically, in that video, it looks like it's awesome and it's really cool, and that's kind of true. But it's also like the Arctic, so that's also not so awesome. So actually, I'm sorry, Denmark, but I just can't recommend you to anybody because you're too cold. So unless you're from like Alaska or something, don't go to Denmark. That's my advice. They do have a really nice drink though that's made of sort of juice stuff. From I mean, it's made from flowers that grow on a tree called like some I forget
Elderflower.
elderflower. Yes, thank you. So yeah, elderflower. So I do recommend elderflower drink if you get the chance to drink that. It's really good, and yeah. Also, when I got back, I was really happy to be back in Holland, actually. I think Denmark's probably one of the few countries that actually has worse weather than Holland does. But once I was back, I um, I was going to the weed store, and while I was outside of the weed store, this guy came out, and I guess he was really high or something. But then he like stops and he turns around. I was just standing in the street, and he just stops and turns around and looks at me, and he's like, "Are you like one of those, like uh, ladies?" Or no, the first thing he says, sorry, the first thing he says is, are you a lady?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Oh, okay," because for a second there I thought you were like one of those ladies that everybody thinks is a man or something, and I was like, "Oh no, yeah, I'm transsexual." And then he's like, his eyes got so bright. He was like, "Oh my god, really? That's amazing!" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess in a way it is." And then I wasn't super intimidated, but I was also in the back of my mind like, "Oh god, this guy's gonna like beat me down or something." So I was a little bit afraid, but my boyfriend was inside the weed store, so I wasn't that concerned. Anyway, then he just kind of stands there and starts uh, uh, blathering on about like how he says, I think that if this trend continues, then people are going to be able to change their shape, and I'll be able to be like, a sea monster or something, like a giant squid. And I was like, okay. And then he like walks away like maybe 5, 10 meters, and he turns around and he's like, "A giant squid! Think about it!" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." Um, anyway, yeah, that was my encounter with a Dutch person. That was quite interesting. Um, so yeah, I guess yeah, Dutch people are quite open or something, are very curious. Um, but it wasn't like hostile. Like it's technically being clocked or whatever, which is fine because I was out like wearing like sweatpants and no makeup, so I'm not super surprised that somebody would be like, "Hey, uh, is that a tranny?" kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I wasn't super aggressive about it, and I think he was just enjoying his high, which is good. So you have to appreciate it, and I think that's what it kind of depends on as well, is like context. You can have people that like are very um, seemingly are very like being nice and asking you questions and stuff like this, but actually they're just being assholes. Or you can have people who seem like a bit direct or something like this, but they're being nice, or they're being very um, innocent and non-judgmental in how they're speaking to you. I'm not sure about this particular case because the part that he threw in about like becoming a sea monster is like being trans. I thought that was a little bit. It could have just been like something that you think while you're high, or it could have been some sort of weird passive aggressive thing. I can't really tell. But anyway, that's my experience with Dutch people. So yeah. Okay, that's it for today. Take care, everyone.